All right. So what we did yesterday, we worked with this loop called do while. Any questions that you have around do while?
No questions, Ishani.
No.
Shani, we have a practice questions on that assessment for do while as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will post it today once I finish this entire do while, and we'll finish do until also.
Yeah,
And go to,
sure.
and then I'll post it.
Sure, Shani. Thank you.
So we did yesterday something called a do while, right? And there is another loop which is very identical to do while. It's kind of a variation of a do while, which is called do loop while. So what's the difference? So for example, I write the line, the keyword do followed by lines to repeat, followed by loop, and the condition actually comes at the end. So loop while, condition is checked at the end. Now, what is the difference between the two? People who are already knowing coding, they should know about this thing. What is the difference between the two? What is the difference between?
It executes first, then checks the condition.
It executes and then checks the condition all the time or only one time?
All the time.
As in the first time only, right?
The first time
After
it
that-
executes, if the condition is false, then the execution is for one time.
Correct. So what's the difference between a do while and a do loop while? Okay, so think about it. What is going on over here? It is only do part. The keyword only do is there. Is there any condition that it needs to check at this point? Anything that I need to check at this point? Nothing is there.
No.
So what is the normal thing? It will go to the next line. And over here, whatever lines you have given, it will execute that. So at least one time the lines are getting executed. Why I'm saying at least one? Because once these lines get executed, next it is going to go to do while condition and check for the condition at this point. Now, if the condition is true, then what will it do? It will go back inside the loop. And if the condition is false, it will exit the loop. Is it clear? So, basic, just to rephrase this entire thing, so do while does checking on entry, right? And your do loop while checks at exit. Make sense? So this is entry controlled. Do while is entry controlled because if I don't have, for example, going back to this question, in the beginning itself, if in the phone number I gave a 10-digit number, do you think it will go enter the loop? If I enter a number which is 10 digits in the very first instance, will it even enter the loop?
No.
It will not enter the loop, right? It will completely skip it. So like yesterday, Faisal was making me do this thing of debugging. Let's do this thing. So I run it. I'm putting a 10-digit number. I click OK. So now it is going to come at this part, do while phone number. Phone number, it is showing to you phone number is equal to 10 and it says not equal to 10. So if I press F8 again, it entirely skipped it. Why it skipped? Because the condition wasn't true. So it checks the condition, and if the condition is true, then it allows it to enter. Otherwise, it does not. Okay, that's why we say it is an entry control loop. And in case of your do loop, what is happening now? Whether it was a 10-digit number or it was not a 10-digit number, it would have ran the lines first, and then later at the very end, check whether the condition is true or not. Okay. So you do loop while runs at least once.
So can you tell us where it can be used? What's the purpose of it?
What is the purpose of it? Like over here, for example, over here. we had to take an input at least one time, right? And then whether to take an input the second time or not would have depended on the phone number. So if I wanted to write it as a do loop, so anywhere where you want the first instance to happen, irrespective of what the condition might be, that is the place you will use a do loop. So if I use a do loop over here, I am going to get rid of this one for now, and I'll cut this entire part and place it over here. Right? And I'm going to put a message box, enter the 10-digit phone number, right? So initially there is no condition. So it goes to the input box, it takes a 10-digit number. Now, if you've entered the right 10-digit number, it will simply exit it, because at the condition checking, it will be false and it'll exit. But if it's not a 10-digit number, it will go back again. So I've reduced the usage of one input box, because whether it is a 10-digit or not a 10-digit, I had to take an input for the phone number at least once. Right? So if I run this one,
but it is working like the same previous rule. Then why we need this loop?
so a lot of time you will see that the things look identical, as in this case also, but like over there, I had to take an input at least once, right? So if I use a do loop, I'm taking only one time input, but if I'm using a do while, I'm taking a two-time input. In fact, I should not say that. I could have done it over there also. I don't have specific example, to be honest, because I am just thinking again, I could have done that also with one time input box by putting this and putting this, the same condition. This would have also worked, because to begin with, phone number is empty. So it will be saying 0 is not equal to 10, which is true, and it would enter the loop. So typically, when you want it to run at least one time, all the lines you want to execute, then you use a do loop, otherwise do while. Okay. And just like you have a do while, you also have something called a do until. Do until, condition, lines to repeat, and loop. Now, when does this run? This loop runs until the condition becomes true. Okay, so to begin with, this condition is actually false. And when it becomes true, then it comes outside the loop. Right? Now, which one do you use? Whether you use a do while or a do until, it actually doesn't make any difference. Like, they are alternate to each other. So it doesn't matter whether you want to use a do while or you want to use a do until. Exactly the same thing. Only thing you have to remember that whatever is the condition you gave for a do while, this is going to be the opposite condition that you give over here. And just like you have a do loop while, you also have a do loop until.
These loop are like kind of alternative of each other.
Yeah, they're alternative of each other. Correct.
And there is no basic any major difference between them for as working point of view.
No,
Just one step
nothing
forward,
specific.
one step down.
Yeah.
Only
But it's true or false. Only that difference is there.
Whether you are
in the
for
first one, the
validating-
condition is true, and second one, the condition has to be false till it becomes true.
either the condition validating before or after, only that.
In between do until and do loop,
Yeah.
yeah, that is the only condition.
Yeah.
Okay, let's write a small code. So write a program to enter the password. The password is IBY_4321. Allow only 3 attempts or the user. If the password is correct, show logged in, else logged out. Okay. So you have to write a program to in which it prompts that enter the password. The password I'm already telling you, it's IVY_4321. So use that. And if the person has taken all the 3 attempts and still given all the 3 attempts were a wrong password, then it should show logged out. And within the 3 attempts, if the person is entering the right password, then show logged in. Is the question clear?
Yes, Ishani.
Yes,
Try it.
Achana.
Try. And let's try to use a do while. Do while or do until, either one of them.
Okay.
Now remember one thing, do while and do until, they are conditional based loop. So if you have to put a counter, right? Because I said the number of attempts is 3, then you have to put some checks and balances in your program, because do while and do until does not have counters in it.
Shani, could you please scroll up a little bit?
Which part? Let me know. This is good.
Little more up.
Little more up. Then we'll go in yesterday's lecture.
Okay, no, I'll come now.
That's fine then.
Yeah. Back box.
Who got an error?
Actually, which sign do we use? We can use if we want to mention like is not equal to.
Not equal to is less than greater than sign. This one. This on my screen.
Okay.
So what will be the data type of the
String.
variable?
String.
I'm getting correct answer wrong.
Okay. And then we'll use an input box to get it, correct?
Yeah.
Enter the password.
Enter the password. Okay, once we've entered the password, what should we do?
Looping, do loop.
Do loop.
You want to put a do loop. So do while. And what should be the condition?
Pass.
Pass. Okay.
Pass is equal to.
Is equal to password. IV Pro 4321.
Is equal to.
Not equal.
Not equal, right?
Not equal to.
Okay. Do while
Greater than.
the password is not equal to this. What do you want to repeat?
We have to repeat this.
Message box.
Input box.
Input
Message
box.
box.
Input box.
Input box.
Message
Three
box.
times.
Message
Want
box.
to have a message box also, input box also. A message box could be wrong password.
Wrong. Logged out.
And since not logged out immediately, it's
Only
after
wrong
3
password, yeah.
attempts, wrong password. And since you guys like a little bit of more fancier outputs, we can also put something like wrong
Attempt.
password. I knew somebody would want that.
Attempt remain
Attempt,
2.
ampersand. Okay, you want remaining attempts? Okay, remaining attempts. I can't say 2, right?
No, I think it like value of I integer. Kind of.
Value of I. What is the value of I?
No, but in previous
that
I
will,
value
it
of I
will
will
be
be
We
reduced.
can use.
What is the value of I?
3 minus I.
What is I?
But first we need to declare it I as a
Yeah.
variable.
Right.
For
Okay,
that.
so first we need to declare it. Okay, I am
It's-
declaring it.
Yes.
But it will be in reduced manner. 3 minus I, yes.
Right? And what is the value of I at this point?
3.
0.
3 to 1.
3.
0, 0. Its initial
Zero.
value is 0.
0.
Right? Now, where should I increment it?
So can we put I equals 3?
I equals 3. No, we are saying
I
that.
equal to 0 after the
I-
declaration.
But I is as it is equal to 0. So once you
I
already
equals
get
to
the
1 to
password,
3.
1, 2, 3.
correct, Tanu, but
Because
initially how what it will be? Let's say you have already executed this statement. Your first attempt is gone,
Wrong.
Right.
right? So once you entered the do while, I already has a value of 1.
Yes.
I even use for I equals 1 to 3. Can't we use that?
1, 2, 3.
You can, but that is going to be entirely different program. But I
Yeah,
wanted you guys to use do while first.
Okay. So
So I
So-
will be 1 inside. Yes or no?
can't we do like that? That we can initialize I as 3 and then reduce -1
Like a
till
step.
it is 0. Till it's 0.
Step
We
minus
can do
1.
that. Oh, Kshitij, you don't have to put both the loops. Like either put a do while or put a for loop. You really don't need both of them together. So if I'm saying I is equal to 1 and then I'm saying wrong password, the remaining is 3 minus 1, it will automatically come at 2. And then what?
I next I.
Minus.
Then loop.
Loop per
It will go
loop.
again.
Okay,
Yeah.
inside the loop, what? Then this is a infinite loop you guys are helping me to make.
Yeah, because it will become again 3. Right.
Exits up if
2
No,
will
no,
increment
no.
as 1. Right.
Thing is, how many times have I taken the input from the
3
user?
times.
How?
time.
How? In this program, how?
No.
Input box.
How many times has input box come?
3 times.
3 times.
How? 3.
2 times.
No.
Now it will
It's
2
2
times,
times.
but from beginning to end it will be 3.
It is not
No.
till now, it's just one time, and that is
One
also
time.
outside do while.
Yeah.
So if I don't give an instance for the end user to change the password, this is an infinite loop. So what should I do? I said, okay, your password is wrong. You have 2 attempts left. Then what should be the next step?
Input
Run
box.
Assign value
Box
to
again,
I.
enter the
box.
password.
Pratibha, correct. Yeah, I wanted to enter the password again. Okay. And this the wrong place to declare it. It should be outside because otherwise everywhere it will be
1.
I is equal to 1. And once the person has already guessed once again, then what should I do? The person has guessed once again. So your I value, how will you change your value of I?
-1 again.
You want to
I
do
is
a
equal to I
minus
plus
or
1.
add?
I equal to I plus 1.
I is equal to I plus 1. Very good. I is equal to I plus 1. Okay. Now it is going to keep on going on. So how would you control it? Should be only till 3.
Can we
I
put
plus 1
exit?
to 3.
Exit statement.
Exit.
But
Do.
what is the condition to exit? There has to be a condition, right? What is that
I
condition?
3.
I equals to 3.
I is equal to 3. So how do you check condition?
If
If function. Good.
If function.
So you will put an if and you'll say if I is what?
I equal to 3.
To,
I is greater than 3.
If
greater than
I
because
greater than
3, 1, it has done 2, and it goes back 3. 3 should be allowed, right? Greater than 3. If it is greater than 3, then what I want to do, you want to exit the do loop,
2.
right? And outside the loop, what do you want to happen? But if you're exiting the do, why you want to exit the do right now? What will you have to write something also, right? If I is
Yes.
greater than 3,
Locked out.
Maximum
Logged
attempt.
out.
Logged in.
Logged
Right.
out.
Maximum attempt.
equal to logged out.
Correct. And exit the do or end sub.
Ends up.
You exit sub, right? You're locked out and you exit.
Yes.
And let's say you gave the right password and it exits the do loop. What should come up over here?
Logged in.
Logged in.
Looks fine. Let's try F5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm getting 4. This is greater than
Equal to 3.
equal to 3 only. So 1, 2, 3, logged out. And if I run it again, 1, let's give the right password in the second attempt. Logged in and out. Okay. Let me know if it makes sense. It says integers to password input box attempt is equal to attempt plus 1. Okay. Attempt. Okay. Manoj, the way you've done is also correct. So what Manoj has done, used a if function to check the condition rather than using a do while to check the condition. Oh, I can't copy. What am I thinking? I was trying to copy his work, but you can see his work in the chat window because it's put on the chat for all. So what he has done is he has used a do loop until and attempts he has put as the condition. And inside he has put a check with if on the password. So it's the same thing. We did the opposite. But it's the same thing. Output would be the same. Okay. Guys, can I request you to mute?
Eva.
You could have done this with the for loop also. For loop would be very, very less complicated. You want me to do this with for? Because in for loop, you already know for how many times this has to run. So it's 1, 2, 3. Inside that, you can ask for a password.
Effort.
Right. Less effort is required over here. Pass
Yeah.
as a string. And over here, I can.
Yeah, by instinct, I was using this only.
That makes sense because we said we want 3 attempts. So we knew exactly how many times it has to run. So enter the password. And when we enter the password, then we are going to check. So if this
password equals the statement, the password.
This, then we can see logged in.
Message box, logged in, else.
Exit sub.
Yeah.
If and next time. And once it comes out of the for loop, and none of the time it was right, just the message box logged out.
Logged out.
That's it.
Can't we use else here?
We don't need else. Like else for what?
Actually, more for loop is much easier, I think, than other. The above one is so complicated that it blasts the mind that how
We would have not thought of also actually.
So this is looking complicated because you have to put a counter yourself. Then you're checking for the counter, you're checking for the password. Both the checks are happening. That's why this seems little, tedious, but not all the time. So a lot of times. So if you talk about realistic work in Excel, a lot of time we say, you would require a do while loop or a do until loop because the data keeps on changing. But you can also think about it in this way, that if I understand the technique to count the number of records, that okay, today I have 300 rows of data or I have 3000 rows of data. If I know how to count the rows, then I can still go for a for loop instead of doing a do while and saying, okay, keep on repeating till you hit an empty cell. You understand? So depending on your whatever is more comfortable to you, you can. Like in this macro case, doing a for loop would have been a little difficult because to count how many records are there was not a feasible trick. Right? In this case, counting, do you think counting records was easy?
No.
Not in this case. So in this case, you do while or do until would have been a better thing only to do. So there are situations where you will not know how many times you have to actually run.
Shani, we need lot of
With
practice for
with
this.
practice will come up. I
Yes, but I agree. But why I want you to practice on realistic things of Excel. Okay. So let's say, okay, how many of you, I know I'm making you do all your children's maths work, but do you know how to convert decimal into a binary number?
Yes, we divide it by 100.
Not 100.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
2.
With 2.
Right. So let's say if I have to convert a decimal to binary. So what is the process of converting a decimal to binary? Let's say it's 124. I have to divide by 2 and get both the parts, the quotient and the remainder. So this becomes what? 62, remainder is 0. Then again I divide it, it becomes 31, remainder is 0. Then again I divide it, becomes 15, remainder is 1. Then 7, remainder is 1. Then your 3, remainder becomes 1. And then 1 and the remainder is 1. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we say the binary number is, putting it together from behind, it is 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 4 5 and 00.
4.
Right? In this case, we would not know how many times I have to keep dividing by 2. Would you know how many times you have to divide by 2? It varies from number to number. But till what point do you keep on dividing by 2?
It become 1.
Till the remainder of the question becomes 1 or 2.
Remainder can be 1, but the question becomes 1.
1. Yeah.
This portion becomes 1. So you have to keep dividing till this becomes 1. So that becomes condition based. Do you want to try this one?
Yes.
Try. I've told you the entire logic how to do it. So you have to keep storing the question. Question again becomes something that you want to divide by 2. So every time you're changing the value of your variable, modifying the value of your variable, and you're doing both the things. You're getting the question part also, you're getting the remainder part. And for the question part, what you're getting, you're only trying to look for the integer part of it, correct? Guys, you're looking for the integer part, right? You're not looking for 15.5. You're looking for 15 and you're not looking for 7.5. You're looking for 7, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So how will you only capture the integer part?
Is there
Do until.
No, not because of do until, but how will you capture the integer part? Like if I divide 10 divided by, let's say 3, I get 3.33.
Rounding off.
Not rounding.
Or not
Rounding will
rounding.
make
Before
it
decimal.
messy.
That will make
Before
all
Decimal I want. So I don't know how many of you know this.
We need dream we can use, I think.
You don't need that. There are 2 type of division signs. One is this and one is this actually.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one that you use will give you decimals and this only gives you the integer component of it. Okay. So when you're dividing, divide by this symbol rather than the usual one.
Understood.
Right?
First, we have to take input from the
User.
user. Okay.
Yes. So enter a decimal number. And once a person enters the decimal number, then you keep on dividing by 2 till the question becomes 1. And keep on saving the remainders.
एक मिनट
Quick question. Shubham, you have not given the final assessment of Excel, correct? Shubham?
Ishani, what will be the do condition over here?
Do condition is that when you're dividing, let's say you took the variable as a number, right? And when you're saying number divided, this division by 2 is keep on repeating it till it's not equal to 1, correct?
Fine.
Because at the last it has to be 1.
Fine. Ideally should be is equal to 1 or less than more than.
So if depends, if you're using a do while runs till the condition becomes true, right? So it will keep on running till this number is equal to 1. Till the time it's not equal to 1, it will keep on running the loop. So what are you trying to use?
I'm
You're
using
using
do
while, then this is the condition only, because initially the condition have to be it has to be true, right? So think about it, when you're dividing the first time, it comes as 62, so it's not equal to 1, so it will be true. It will go back in your loop, divide again, capture the remainders. Yes, and it will keep on repeating these steps till it hit 1.
And how to save that?
How to save the remainders?
Right.
You tell me. When I asked you that if you want to give multiple outputs in multiple message box. You said no, let's try to put it in one message box. How did we deal with it?
And sign.
Ampersand.
Ampersand, yeah.
You can concatenate it. So as and when the remainder you are getting, concatenate.
Can you show that do program again?
So
Ishani, what's the short way to run the sub step by step?
It's F8.
Ishani, is there a help option in coding window to for any suggestion we want from Microsoft itself in terms of getting suggestion for coding?
Since 2007, it has removed the offline help. So if you press F1, which is typically for help, it'll take you back in your online help. So you can take online help over there. Gunjan, try to use the other division symbol that I was telling you, because this one will do a rounding up. So not all the time your answer might be correct. Because it's like if you get something like 7.8 or something like that, then it rounds it up to 8. So do while num this divided by 2 is not equal to 1. Yes?
Yes. That's possible.
Do while num this is not equal to 1, and then what are we doing? What are
and
we
we have to
interested
store
in?
the
We are interested in remainder and the question, both.
right.
Correct? So what we can do is, while it is not equal to 0, while it is not equal to num, and we are saying that we want, let's declare one more variable, final, as a string. Final is equal to final. ampersand num mod 2. Correct. And then we will change the num. Num is equal to num divided by 2.
Oh,
Isn't it?
Ishani,
So Ishani didn't get this concept.
Which
because
one?
I was thinking,
You read right.
because where you have taken this final, I was taking final divided by 2.
But final is empty string value and we are just concatenating in it, right?
Are we concatenating or finding the value? We will run the loop.
This is, we are concatenating and over here we are changing the value of num.
So how will we get in last? How will we get binary number?
So binary number will be your message box final, but final in the reverse order and with the 1 in the front. So it would be 1 ampersand string reverse. You've heard about this, right?
yeah, we have heard, but
So let's try to, yeah, that's okay. So let's try to do it. F8. Enter the number 124. So it comes over here, F8. Now, obviously, it is not equal to 1. So it came down, F8 again. Now, what is inside final? It's 0 is stored. That was the first value that we would have got for the remainder. And then F8 again goes back. Again, it's not equal to 1. So it goes back. Now the value of final is 2 zeros. So it goes back again.
I'm asking
running
first here it has saved 0 and again it will save 0. 2 times 0.
You're not saving, you're concatenating these remainders, right? First time when you divided 124 by 2, you got a remainder of 0. So that got saved. Then you're dividing 62 by 2. Again, you got a remainder of 0.
Okay.
And now you see what is the value of num? 31. Correct? So it is now going to divide 31 mod 2. So what will be the answer? It will be 1. So now it will be 0, 0, 1. So as and when it's doing a remainder, it's concatenating it.
Okay.
Right? And the loop keeps on going on.
That part is clear, but I couldn't get this message box 1 and reverse.
That I'll explain. So
Shani, then
at
why
the
we are
end,
taking num?
why we are taking?
Num is equal to num divided by 2.
Actually, the concept of final and num is not cleared.
Yeah.
Num is just the input. Final is
even after the do while. From how?
Go ahead.
I mean to say that how this outcome as a final is equal to final. So you are saying that the final and the number which you are receiving divided by 2, these two will be concatenate.
Correct. Whatever is num or 2, whatever is the output of this calculation, that will be concatenated to the string called final.
So, Shani, what our logic is, when we are dividing 124 by 2, then the outcome should be divided by 2. So, if the final is equal to final and num mod 2, then as per our logic, it should be final is equal to final divided by 2.
Why final divided by 2? Final is nothing, it's a blank string.
Because, yeah, but the outcome is coming from this mod, na?
Mod is giving you remainder.
Yeah, that's why. That's why we are dividing it by 2, na?
Not clear what you said. Tarun, repeat again.
See, can you go to the Excel?
Yeah.
Okay. So the logic is, once we got this number 62, then we are dividing 62 by 2.
No, initially so you're dividing 124 by 2 only, right? How did you get 62? You have to store that remainder as well. So this portion is your num divided by 2. Sum num mod 2. This part of it. And writing is so horrible. Hold on. Looks like this portion that you are looking at right now, let's concentrate on this part. What is this? This is coming from your number mod 2, because what are these? These are remainders.
Yeah.
Right? Initially,
Yes.
we said, what is num? Num is this value.
Yes.
Right? But how will I now say num is 62? So for that, we are saying that the num is equal to num divided by 2.
So at this point of time, num is not 124, it's 62 now.
It is now 62, and then it will become 32, because what we are doing, remember, extraction assignment. It'll extract the previous value of num, which is 124. It'll divide by 2. It'll get a value of 62, and new value of num now is 62. And then again it goes back, divides it by 2, gets its remainder. Tarun?
Now got your logic.
Got it? So the mod part is taking care of this, and the num divided by 2 is taking care of this part.
Fine.
Okay, Abhishek, clear?
Yeah, it is clear, but still I am thinking, how can we think this?
Yeah, that's the point.
You can think, we can understand, you are teacher, but how can we think this?
I mean, at such a
And
short
even we
time,
can we think this? The question is, can we think this?
Yes, you can.
Thank you for
Shami,
the
can you please
motivation, but
explain the
practically.
mod part once again? So this is basically for the remainder. I mean,
Remainder, yes,
stro-
yes, yes. It's for the remainder part.
Okay.
Ishani, I'm sorry to barge in between. But what I think is like we are not able to correlate what we have learned and what we're gonna do in a next program. I think that part is missing over here.
Exactly.
The way which you are saying, we are not able to connect to that thing. That's a problem.
Shaujin, the problem is, if I start to make you work on Excel without you knowing what is a do while, what is a for loop, what is a for next, you would not be able to do that part also. Trust me, this is a tried and tested formula of how to make you work on VBA. Because without this, if I start to make you, then you're confused in 2 areas. You are already confused with the objects and how to write the objects, how to do things in Excel, and you're also confused with the syntax of programming.
But the
that
concern
definitely you will not be able to cope up.
But concern is, Ishani, is that this is the pre-work for before doing the real Excel or tools practice work. If we are not able to think on these tiny programs, as you are saying for you, then how could we connect these terms with the real practical data?
Okay, so what I want you to do out of this particular exercise that we are doing is to understand that, okay, if I am given a problem, do I know that I need a for next or do I need a do while? Are you able to understand that part?
Yes, we can understand that part, but
Now,
not able to apply that.
That's okay. But you're able to see one application part, like I said, this is not going to be your work. So it doesn't matter, right? But what is important is, are you able to think about the right tool and technique or not? Are you able to differentiate that this is a work of a if and not a for?
Yeah, we can differentiate verbally. We can tell you that in this condition, this formula or this loop can work. But how
that
to
is what
apply
I need.
this work in this program?
I don't need that. I don't need that. That's what, if that was a need, I would have focused only on these kind of things, right? You also see, I am not bothered. I ask you for the condition. I tell you, okay, what will I do after this? I'm not bothered whether you're able to write it in exactly in the same manner or not. But I do ask you guys, okay, what do you think will come next? What do you think will happen next? That's what I'm bothered about. That, are you able to understand? Yes, this is a do while, or this is a condition I'll apply. That is more important for me.
Yeah, that is understandable.
Okay, and this is the last torture day.
Yeah, I know we need to have little patience for 1 or 2 days more.
It is the last day of torture.
We are okay if this thing is not impacting our real practical.
It is not going to impact.
Otherwise, if it is impacting, then we are in the lower state. I'm talking about myself.
Even we.
So we are also not able to get.
Yeah, because
what we do, what to do, like you have easily gone to final and final is equal to final.
So there are 2-3 concepts in programming which you kind of have to put in the back of your mind. Things like how we are going to have multiple values concatenated into one. This thing you should know how to do it.
So
right?
does
What
it?
does it? Huh?
Practically, you are saying that the theorem must be in our mind. It is not mandatory that how to apply that is not mandatory, but the theorem should be in mind that what should be the next.
Correct. Because see, I told you when I was teaching you Excel also, what did I tell you? I told you if you forget the how part, how to do it, you can Google for it. You will get multiple resources in Google and YouTube. But nobody will tell you that put a do while or a for loop over here. That has to come from you. So that thought process is much more important than the actually doing this thing. Okay.
Yeah, and I think you are taking typical examples to
I'm taking very
differentiate.
typical examples.
Yeah.
If your kids are in school, they are also done this thing only.
Yeah. And then we can differentiate on one program how this is working as compared to how this is working, right?
Right. You just have few classes. I had one full year of flowchart algorithm. Next year, I was just making Christmas trees and the various pattern with the stars only. That's how I got to this stage that if you see, you have to think about it. Let's say when Faisal gave me a problem or anybody gives me a problem, whether it's in VBA or it's in Excel. What is the way I tackle it? I try to break it up into smaller chunks of steps. And then I say, okay, if you are saying this is what I want to do, like Faisal said that day, that I want to filter out NA. So his thought process was, let's first find out their NA or not. So those things, I'm not doing it on daily basis, right? I'm not working with Faisal to know how to do it. But what I'm doing, I'm breaking it down in a smaller chunks of thought process. And then telling you, okay, if you have to do this, let's put it this way. This has to be done then. Same thing you have to do only. So next part of the program is going to be relatively easy. Why? Because you know how to do things in Excel. So if I tell you this is the data set, this is the output I want, that part you would know in Excel, right? And now the only thing is how to convert that thought process of Excel into codes of VBA.
Okay.
Okay. So trust me, I've been doing this for way too long. And I've tried multiple means and method of teaching specifically this VBA codes. And I have not found anything more effective than the way I am doing it right now. Trust me.
Ishani, I have one question.
Yeah, Ankita.
So actually, I'm still confused between do while and do until. Can you help me differentiate it?
Pick one and learn one. Don't focus on the other one. You will need only one. Okay.
Which one is better?
There's no better and worse. It's about habit. Like, for example, I have a habit of using do while. In my programs, you will never see until. Word until does not show up. So it's about whichever you want. Like when you divide, like over here, if I have to convert this into a do until, all I'm going to do is convert this into until and make this equal to 1. Why? Because in this case, the condition that you begin with must be false. And it keeps on running till this condition becomes true. Okay. And while is opposite.
That's what I was getting. Yeah, I was getting confused. Yeah.
So just pick one and stick to that. Like if you think while, I've understood while, just stick to while. Don't focus on other things.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know. Shahazuddin, do you have confidence in me or not? Little bit.
No, it's not about confidence on you. It's about we are not able to correlate what we learned and what we are gonna do. That's what I mean to say.
You remember when we started with this thing, I told you that whatever I'm going to make you do has nothing to do with your industry work. Corporate work, this has nothing. Nobody does binary to decimal. We have functions already in Excel plugged in place for that. So obviously we will not be doing that. But these fundamental the syntax is one, and then understanding when I'm going to use which particular syntax, like a do while or a for loop or if or if else, that has to be inculcated. And that I can't mix Excel at this point. So that's the reason any programmer that you.
It's not about having confidence on you. We have got a lot of knowledge, right? We have been seriously following you and we are trying to at least understand theoretically what exactly is happening behind. But the problem is like what happens next when we are listening and understanding this and we wanted to do next. There comes the problem for us.
Okay, so don't worry. So next class onwards, which is tomorrow, we will start to work with objects of Excel. Okay, there I will first, again, it is going to be done in phases. We will start with workbooks. What are the things that we do in Excel on workbook and how to write a code for that in VBA. Okay, then we go to worksheets and then we start with the ranges. Once we go to the ranges, then again we'll do mixture of objects and these concepts that we have learned. And then we will pick up some real-time problems of Excel. It is not going to be arbitrary like this.
Okay, understood.
All right.
Yep.
So all these programs are just to make algorithm in our mind.
Yes, basic thought process that you have to think in algorithm. You have to think about algorithm. You have to break down the problem into smaller chunks. Second part, that is why we do this, is for syntax. You need to memorize the syntax. And the third thing is to understand the utility of each and every structure that we are learning.
Got it.
Because until we don't know any three of them, to write bigger programs, it is not possible.
Got it.
Okay.
We have complete trust on you, Ishani. We are with you.
I know this feeling is there. You know, I train on a retail batches also, right? So when I'm teaching everyone Excel, everybody is all so happy, pepped up. As soon as it hits VBA, half the people are like gone.
No, really, sometime you gave us the code. Sometime I only stop input box, enter the number. After
That's
that,
what
I'm like
happened with
blank. What
that's
should I do
happening with
now?
everyone. That's
happening with everyone.
Yeah,
And
same,
the
same,
only way
same
to
for me.
overcome.
And then I keep
We
quiet
wait for
and
Ishan. Yeah, we wait for Ishani to do it.
But the only way
and
to
then you write
overcome
code.
is.
We think that, oh wow, it was so easy. We were not able to think that. How
But I'm
Ishani,
telling you, the
Ishani,
only
when
way
you
to
do
overcome this is to start writing algorithms. You know, your batch did not have it, but few batches that I've taken in GenPack, I had a full 3 to 4 sessions dedicated to force them to write flowcharts and algorithms. But it is a mandatory step.
Ishani, when you write the
not
code,
have it
it's
now.
look very easy.
It will. When someone else does the work, it's always nice and easy. Like for you, it's
But
code. For me, it's
but
cooking.
when we do, we completely blank.
Like I said, like the codes are for you. That is how I feel about cooking food. When somebody else is making, I'm like, yeah, it's so simple. And when I enter into it, I'm like, what on earth is this? I don't know where to start. I'll also put in oil and then sit and imagine now what to do. So don't worry, we all have our,
Yeah, if the
areas of
algorithm
expertise.
point of view is the concern, then we are in. That the algorithm is slowly setting in our mind that what should be the next step. But yes, how to do that, then we are blank. Especially I am blank.
Okay, tell
Yes,
me this
same,
thing.
I
same
also
for
am. I'm also blank.
Yeah, I agree.
We are on the same page.
You all
Yeah,
are on
we
the
all
same
are on
page,
same page.
and it is impossible that you will be an expert in 4-5 sessions. It's impossible.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's what you.
But we'll have knowledge. Yes, but of course we are gaining knowledge each day.
You are
So-
gaining knowledge. Plus, I have confidence on this batch because you have enthusiastic about learning. You are keep on asking questions. You don't quit, and you know Excel. Okay, so that's why I am very sure that in the next part of it, you will enjoy also, and you will learn, and then you will see the application of what all we have done so far.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you,
next
sir.
time we'll do that. I am skipping go-to for now, and I'll put it inside some Excel work only and then explain to you. So I have it in the back of my mind. Okay. So this I'll leave it, and tomorrow, the last class of this year, we will start working with objects of Excel. So for example, something that Faisal was making me do, that he was working with actually Excel. And there I use the word range and all those things. So we'll start working with objects of Excel tomorrow. And the very first object that we will work with, workbooks.
Ishani, will you explain this last line? The sub.
This one, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the message.
what happened, why I had to use all these things, because once you understood this remainder and the question part, right? So when you're concatenating, how is it concatenating? It is concatenating from 0 and going all the way down. Correct? When you're concatenating, how did it say? It says 0 and then 0, then 1, and so on and so forth, right? So how the string will look like? It will look like 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. But in reality, the binary is from bottom. So there is, and you have to concatenate this one also. Okay, so this one is not going to be captured in the remainder part. This one will never be captured in remainder. So that's the reason I've put 1 over here. Right? And I don't want 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I want 1 and then opposite of this direction. So that's what I did. I did a string reverse. I reversed the string.
Ishani, if the one which you have added, if it is 0, let's suppose it's divided whole.
It'll never be 0.
It can't be 0.
It cannot
Okay,
be 0.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, understood now.
Right?
Yes, it is
can
always
never
one
be
of
0.
you.
That's why we use this also as a condition. Otherwise, it could have been 0 or 1.
Okay.
Right? All right. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'll see you tomorrow. And just give me 2 more classes. When you start working with objects, you will also make sense to why we learned all these. And then you will definitely enjoy the program.
Yeah, we do have a mixed feeling that will go away. I know.
Yes, that will definitely go away. And I'm going to request Gunjan and anyone else like Vivek, Gunjan, Faisal, anyone who is actually working with VBA. Who all are working with VBA?
Yes, I am.
Vivek is there, Gunjan is there, and Faisal, are you doing it or no?
Yes, I'm also doing VBA. Yes.
You're working with VBA, right? So I would request all 3 of you in our next class, if you could, next class or next class, if you could bring some smaller chunks of questions, as in, let's say if I wanted to find, if I wanted to do remove duplicates in VBA, because that would be one of the steps that you have to do for your bigger programs. So how do you do it? Things like that, if you could bring, how to find the last cell of your column, how to highlight, let's say, cells which are greater than someone, how to search for a value. Bring in these kind of things that you're doing in your larger program. Okay, so that we can convert it over here. Or tell me one of your larger problem, and as in when I teach, I'm going to break it up and put it back together. Either way. Okay, but something that you guys are dealing with.
So through VBA code, we can apply all this VLOOKUP and all, right?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, because VBA coding, I have never done, but I do have such kind of questions and all.
No, I have, my work, I'll give you just to inspire you a little bit. I know I'm going a little over time, just to inspire you a little bit. Like I told you, I do consulting for companies, and over there, for example, for this particular organization, my work was to do employee performance analysis. Okay. For employee performance analysis, these are the number of files that were given to me, 134 files. And in front of each, it was written the business unit, like admin, BNC, EA, finance, and so on and so forth. So a performance analysis had to be done based on a business unit. So for one business unit, everyone answers should be compiled. Then we had to get unique list of the task, find what is the average time taken by, the combination of all the people, what's the minimum time, what's the maximum time. And then on basis of that, for each individual who are above average and below average, and segregate them. Do you want to do this work in Excel?
Yes, why not?
Yes.
Right.
So Shweta, if you say yes, this is 134 files, mean you have to open individually.
Open every file and collect the data.
Of course, using coding only.
That's what I said. Manually, you have to open 134 files manually. Open it, copy it, paste it. It's not an easy job. And today there are 134 people. This has to be run quarterly. So every time it will remain 134. No. Survey files will change again. So somebody is sitting and doing this work over and over again. It's a manual thing. So why leave it at manual? we automated it.
Okay.
Okay. And I can show you many instances from the industry only. There was another instance where I'll talk about it. I don't want to take more time, but I'll show you all these instances that I have automated, and then you will appreciate the power of VBA. All right. So we'll do a combination. We'll see where Excel is taking more time, or I could have done like this in Excel, then why we need it. So I'll show you a couple of instances next time.
Shani, I have one question.
Yes,
So,
Ankita.
is there any way that, let's assume that I have few files that are kept in previous month's folder, and I want them to, automatically create a new folder like for next month and save all the files in that folder? Is it possible to do that through VBA?
It is.
Yeah. So, can we include that in our next session? Or like,
yeah, so basic questions will be like this, Shani, like 3 files I have, I just want to consolidate into a fourth file, that's it. So these are the basic thing. If we learn, it will really helpful in our day-to-day.
In fact, the thing that you are saying, Shweta, is one of the projects that I give to my batches to work on. So if you look over here, not this one. See, this is one of the classroom assignments only, that create a program, and once all the files are copied, create a master worksheet. So it is like a quarterly report I'm making people do.
Consolidation file,
Yeah. So August, the 3 months consolidation, and then
question 2.
Yes. So this is like the entire thing that you have to learn how to open the window, pick up the file, consolidate the files, and run work, typical Excel functions on it. So all this is typically what we learn VBA for.
And this is really helpful in day-to-day urban life, because I'm dealing with so many files and all. So
yeah, like I said, I'll show you many instances where it is done manually, and I was thinking, okay, why the poor guy is doing it manually, and then we sat and automated half the stuff. So that's what we will do. Okay. And bring your work problems, bring more of your work problems. Okay, like what Ankita has said, what Shweta has said, bring your work problems, so that you can also have interest then that yes, I solved something from what I'm learning.
Sure.
All right. All right, guys.
Sure.
So thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time then.
Thank you, Shani.
Thank you, Shani.
All right.
Shani, bye.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.
you too. Bye bye.